Hi everybody, welcome to my trucking life. So, my name is Randy, and it is my hope that through my experiences and things of that nature that you succeed and you learn the do's and the don'ts. So, this is part 2 of the lack of professionalism in trucking, really. What I wanted to cover in this one that I didn't cover in the first one was another thing that truck drivers like to do is that damn turtle racing. You got two trucks that are roughly going about the same speed. One's going slightly faster, one's going slightly slower, and it's a very slow process. It's like two turtles racing. That's why I call it a turtle race. And it's just extremely annoying, right? When you see the truck on the right is obviously going slower, right? And it's a very slight amount of speed, but yet he's going slower, and he doesn't slow down and let the truck on the left pass him because he's obviously faster. So thereby holding up traffic and impeding traffic, and then, it gives us as a truck driver a bad name, and it makes us look very unprofessional, and people tend to put everyone in the same boat, and that's not right. And let me see if I can get better lighting, because I'm always in the damn shadow. I'm not sure how you guys want me to do that. There we go. I guess that's a little better. Knocking stuff over here. Today it was a little hard to find a parking space. I was at a few Loves. I'm here in Little Rock, Arkansas. I drove well over 600 miles today with about, I got a couple hours left on my on-duty clock and about 50 minutes left on my 11-hour clock. So I didn't run it out like sometimes I do with about, 10 or 15 minutes left. I was getting pretty tired, and I'm really hungry, so stop and take care of all that and get some sleep and get to Dallas tomorrow afternoon. But anyways, on to what I was talking about. So I was in several truck stops today looking for a place to park, and it's just crazy how truckers park and just block people in. The amount of professional discourtesy is staggering for the most part. They're just all over the place. Now, we all understand we gotta sleep, we gotta park, but sometimes, you gotta plan your trips better, because that's what it all comes down to. If you trip plan properly, you won't run into that as much, or hardly ever. You gotta trip plan properly. So if I start out in Cincinnati, I know I got 11 hours to drive. I got 14 hours on duty, okay? How far am I going to make it? I already knew I was probably going to make it to about Little Rock area before I decided I was probably going to hang it up. Now I'm looking at my routes. I'm looking at all the truck stops. I actually start trying to find a place earlier than I normally would, just because of the parking issue. Okay, so 2 Loves ago, I was already looking for a parking spot. 2 rest areas ago, I was already looking for a parking spot. That's 5 places. I stopped at number 5. Okay? So, eventually I'm going to find a parking space. It just might take a little bit, but I've already planned for that. All right? And that's what you're supposed to do. That's professionalism. That's how you do the job properly. That's how you stay compliant and you stay legal. That's how you don't get your trucks towed and you get tickets put on your door and in your window. Right? That's how you don't block people and end up in fights and truck stops and ruin your career. That's how we don't do that. Then there's the just the lack of courtesy inside the truck stop, and there's so much that we see on a day-to-day basis, and everyone, we're all going our own separate ways. It's true, but we end up in each other's way. That's the problem. That's the problem. We end up in each other's way. And sometimes we're not legal, we're not compliant, we're not following either the laws, or, we're just not helping each other stay compliant. We're not helping each other stay out of the way. It's so easy if you're going slower, just slow down and let the people pass you. It's just a couple miles an hour. You're not going to be late going a couple miles less for a minute or two. It's just, I don't see that happening unless you're already late. But that's, unforeseen circumstances happen, but sometimes it's your fault, if that occurs. My idea, my practice is to always pick up early, always deliver early. Those are my first two questions. Can I pick up early? Can I deliver early? That's what I always want to know, because that's what I'm always planning on doing, and if not, then when can I? What's the earliest? Things of that nature. So do you trip plan properly for these things? So if I end up in a turtle race with someone, I'm sorry I keep going off subject, but if I end up in a turtle race with someone and I see that he might be a little bit faster than me, I'm going to slow down and let him pass me. If I'm in cities, and obviously everyone speeds in the city, I'm going to slow down about 3 or 4 miles an hour and let people pass me. It's not that serious where you have to speed through these places, right? And end up in predicaments you do not want to be in and ruining your career. And it's going to be very difficult for you to find a place to work. If you're a driver like this, you got, believe me, these cars are going to call on you. They're gonna get the number off your trucks. They're gonna get the number off the trailers, and they're gonna make phone calls on you if they haven't already done so. Even on the best of us, I don't recall if I ever received any phone calls on me. I don't think I have, but it doesn't mean there hasn't been. I do my best to always stay compliant and legal, but even aside from that, they have a certain amount of courtesy for everybody around me for safety's sake, right? That's what it really comes down to, is safety. Courtesy on the road means also being safe. So if it takes me letting someone go to slow down of 2 or 3 miles an hour, then so be it. Why not do it? He's obviously faster than me. Let me slow down. Allow him space in front of me. I'll flash him, let him know when he can get over, when I'm comfortable with him getting in front of me. And then we'll go on about our merry business, and then traffic can resume as normal. So if I'm about to pass somebody, and I'm always going to check my mirrors, and I do check my mirrors, and I see there are cars, I will put my flashers on, and then I'll wait to see who's going to pass me. That's the appropriate thing to do. Wait to see who's going to pass you. There's too many truck drivers who turn and put their flashers on in the middle of their merge, and that's not how you do this. That's not compliance. Compliance is you turn your flasher on first, you wait, because believe me, there's that one guy or woman who will try to race around you because they're that impatient. And we as truck drivers, we see all the impatience we can handle every day. That's part of the job, is to deal with the impatience of others and defensively drive. That way we don't get put in situations where we hurt ourselves and other people, or both. And we always try to go home to our families at the end of our week, 2 weeks or whatever. So just so much unprofessionalism. And then you go into the terminals, right? And you got these guys there, they block lanes in the terminals and things like that, and they just park crazy. And it's difficult, to not be an ass to some of these dudes. It really is. I used to be a very very aggressive person, and I've had to tone that down, because sometimes you just want to punch somebody, just want to punch them right in the face, but that's not how you solve issues anymore. So the way I'm trying to solve issues, is try to be as respectful as possible, and try to understand why some people do the things they do, and then I make these videos so other drivers and people coming into the industry can learn and hopefully adopt good practices. That's the reason for all that. So fortunately, I found a good place to park. I did a pull-in, which I don't ever like to do, and I only did that because in this area here in Little Rock, Arkansas, when you do try to set up, people will do their damnedest to take your parking spot, back up in front of you, and all that they do, man, it's crazy, right? So it's dog eat dog sometimes. It's not even about professional courtesy at all. That goes out the window, whether you're there first or not. So I just prevented maybe an issue because there's people just, flying in here. So I just pulled right in, and that's it. So I'm here in Loves, around here at Little Rock on I-40 West, exit 161. Here I am. Any Roadrunner drivers who want to say hi, you're more than welcome to do so. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and ask me, and I'll return your question as soon as I can, or I'll give you a reply as soon as I can. So I'm about to do another video right after this, so stay tuned for that also. And that one is going to be an update dealing with my issues with Roadrunner. It's gonna be an interesting one. So with that, leave all spitefulness behind and complications, right? Let's not be complicated, and let's not trash the people we're working for and with. And the best policy is always to try to get along, and that's what I'm shooting for. And with that, I want to say good night to everybody. I am about to post another video here right after this, so look for that also. This is my trucking life.